Hey, what is up, everyone? Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler. Hope everyone's having a great Saturday. I know it's been a little bit of a while since I've made a video. I think the last video that I created was on February 6th, which is crazy. Been super busy with merch and eBay and just doing all kinds of stuff for my business. And when I'm super busy with my art and things like that, because that's another thing too, is I do art and I have a full-time job and so much stuff, YouTube usually takes the back burner. So we have a what sold on eBay. We're going to be doing this live. It's on a Saturday. I hope everyone's having a great day. Didn't do any sourcing today because I was just not feeling well, and I have so much stuff that needs to be listed, pretty much death piles. And I kind of have a rule that I don't go sourcing when I have death piles. I want to usually try to get, and the thing is, my death piles are forever. I have boxes of stuff that I'll probably never get to in storage. So much stuff. But one of my things is, like, I could have went out today, and I should have probably went out, but I didn't, and you know, all that kind of stuff. So yes. So I hope everyone is doing good today. Let's get right into it. We have my Steam It blog up. For some reason, I don't know why that's up here, but this video is going to be what sold on eBay. States Place, what's up, Nicole? I assume it's Nicole. How you doing? How you doing? Doing good. I haven't did a video in a while. We're gonna have some videos out today. I think I'm gonna went to a new thrift shop yesterday. I think I'm gonna probably do that. I might do a couple other videos for tomorrow, but like I said, things have been crazy at home. And for those that don't know, I do this part-time. This is not my full-time job. I work in the movie industry. I work on TV shows and movies and stuff like that. That is my full-time job. I do this part-time, and part-time is supplemental income to put my kids through school and all that kind of stuff. So let's get right into it, shall we? See here. First up, we have this Disney Sweethearts candy box. This was a death pile item from like 3 or 4 years ago. It was something that I don't even remember how this was acquired, but I looked it up the other day and I was like astonished by how much this set went for. And I think I got it for free actually from somewhere. And so this, I took a best offer for this for 70 something plus shipping. What it was a Disney pin set that is long retired, and a couple of these pins by themselves, like the horse one up here, which I think is from, I want to say Fantasia. This horse one alone goes for like $60. So I've seen some of these go for a pretty good amount of money. I don't know whoever bought this is a collector. They're going to break this up and sell them separately. But this was an example of a death pile item that just was sat there and just needed to be listed. I actually listed this a few years ago and nothing ever happened with it, but now that this set's super rare, it's sold and took a best offer. Next up, we have this Lego minifigure set, and I forgot my pin. Of course, I forgot my pin to mark this down, because whenever I do a little thing like, oh, go check this out, I put the time code down so it's easy for me to go back and check that out. But anyways, there was a Lego haul for this one. And what I did, it was a few videos back, maybe like 3 weeks back. And what I did was I separate all the Legos. One of the things I do is I separate all the minifigures and stuff like that. And what I did is I lotted these all together. And I want to say I took a best offer for like 150 plus shipping on this one. And this was super easy to separate, super easy to list. Had a ton of views, had a ton of people asking questions about this lot. And what I did was, for this particular lot, I took out a lot of the figures that I can get $10 or $20 for each, and then the rest of them I put up here. There's actually a pretty good amount of figures, and these are all in pretty much near mint condition. And I left a couple of the rare ones in here. There's some Star Wars ones that are pretty much sought after, but yeah, definitely looking out for Legos and stuff like that for sure. Next up, we have this Lego. Speaking of Legos, so what I did is I separated pretty much all the Legos and found these little blue chip things. And for those that don't know, this is from Lego Dimensions, which is a video game where you can put your little figures on this little stand, and it does something in the game, and it uses I think it's a near field NFS chip. It's a near field chip, and what it does is it does something to the game and everything. Hey, we got Stephanie Purdue and Lauren Coal City Loot. How you doing? How you doing? Well, anyways, so this is what I'm saying. I bought that whole lot of Legos, and I pretty much, what I do is I separate everything that I know that I can get money for, and I happen to find a bunch of these Lego Dimension discs, and what I did is I just lotted them together. It sold for $19.99 plus $2.99 shipping, and that was a pretty easy sale for sure. Next up, we have this Mickey Mouse, I think it's Shilling Retro Collection vinyl doll. And this was actually purchased a couple years ago. And I had a pair of them, so let me show you the mini one also. So there was a pair of them, and what I used to do a lot of online arbitrage where I'd go to different auction sites. And for me, I know a lot about collectibles, so if I see a lot of stuff, like someone's selling just a lot of things, if I can look at the photos and I can see little things that aren't listed in the title or in the description, I can snipe on some really good deals. And since I've been in the business I've been in the collectibles for as long as I can remember, 20 plus years for sure. And so I can pick out little things in lots that I'm like, oh, this lot went for like $10. I can pull this little figure out and get $30 for it. I used to do a lot of that before with online arbitrage. And so this one happened to be a huge collection of Mickey and Minnie kind of memorabilia. I want to say I paid like $20 for this entire lot, which included like little trinkets and a music box and all different kinds of things. And these figures were in there. And I looked these up, and these actually go for about $80, but they haven't sold that high in a long time. So I had these listed for 2 years, hoping to get a sale on these. So eventually I took a best offer. I want to say I took a best offer for like 40 something each on these. And so they were sold as a lot to one particular person. And like I said, I wasn't too much into this as I bought a collection of Mickey stuff, and I already sold a lot of that stuff off and made my money like on the first sale. I think I sold like, there was another little wooden vintage looking figure that sold for like $30 like the second I put it up. And that like pretty much paid for the whole lot. So yeah, that's that. That's one of the kind of tricks and tips that I do when I'm sourcing and stuff like that. I definitely say definitely a lot. I noticed that the other day. I say definitely a lot in my videos. I'm like, God, I say definitely like 30 times in the video I recorded yesterday. It's pretty funny. Next up is Aya Judgment. I've talked about Aya Judgment cards before. It was a game for PlayStation back in 2008-ish, 2009-ish. And it was a cool game where like you were able to scan these cards with a PlayStation camera, and then they'd pop up in the game. Well, anyways, I used to work, I didn't work for Sony, but I worked with Sony as an official like fan site. And there was only 3 of us in the whole world that Sony actually sanctioned us to use their branding, use all this stuff. And I actually made a newsletter, and it was one of the, like, you know, one of the things, because what I do is the way I do private label is so different from what everyone else does. Private label, like a lot of private label sellers, they like will take a knife or a box cutter or something and put their name on it, and that's fine and dandy. But the way I do private label is I literally create stuff from the ground up. And this is just one example. I created a newsletter. It had promo cards. Sony used to send us promo cards. This was a price guide like a Beckett. You know, we created all these promo cards. This duck card is a card that I created with Sony. And anyways, I ran the newsletter, was the editor. I did all that stuff. And so I had so much of this stuff like put away in storage, and I happened to pull it out. And so I'm still going through boxes of this stuff. Well, anyways, I decided I was just going to lot up like a couple of the newsletters, some of the promo cards. This sold like in an hour, $24.99 plus shipping. And here's some other ones. Here's a collector pack. This is NOS, new old stock. This was newsletter number 4. Sold all 10 of these. And I think I took a best offer for like $10 plus shipping for all 10 of them. A guy out of New York who's a major collector just snapped these up in a second. Also with this, issue number 3 had some kind of like also promo cards in it. And this one actually looked like it had some kind of starter deck And these are still selling. So these are selling for $19.99. I sold a couple of them the other day. And so, yeah, I mean, private label is so, when a lot of people talk about private label in the reseller community, they're talking about literally taking other people's products and just slapping their name on it and calling it private label. And when I do private label, it's literally like almost creating something from the ground up, like literally creating something from the ground up. And my latest thing I did was my latest private label was a collectible figure that had nothing in it. It was just absolutely nothing. It was kind of funny, and I wish I could pull that up right now. And actually, maybe I'll do that right now. Let's see here. Collectible nothing. I don't even know if it's going to show up. Probably not. Oh, there it is. So this was like a private label that I did, that I created, and this is actually pretty funny. And what it is it's like an action figure that has nothing in it. It's a gag joke, and you know, this is how I do private label. So it's for the collector that has everything. Interesting facts about nothing, proof of nothing. So this is how I private label, and hopefully this will inspire others to kind of think outside the box when it comes to private label, because there's so much more than just slapping your name on a spatula or something like that. There's so many more creative ways to do private label. Hopefully that will inspire some of you guys to think outside the box. So yeah, we've actually sold a few of those on Amazon, so that was pretty cool. Next up, we have this Funko Pop Robin Hood Prince John figure. This was a vaulted figure. I've bought lots of pops over the years, and I literally just put them away because I do a lot of customs. Let me show you guys this one. So like, I do customs, and like this is this Scrooge McDuck one. Let me show you guys. So this is like Scrooge McDuck. This is something I would like buy this, right? Thinking like I'm going to make a custom of it, which I'm going to do eventually. I think I'm going to make a Bitcoin Scrooge McDuck out of this eventually. So I'm going to make him with like maybe a black tuxedo, black and white tuxedo. I'll paint his little red thing on his hat gold, and maybe I'll change the packaging up and everything because I do art. And so what I do is I'll have these pops. I'll buy them thinking that I'm going to create art with them, put them away, and like years later they become vaulted, which means they're essentially become retired, and the prices go up on some of these. So I've been very surprised where I paid like $10 for one and sold one for $80. I bought a Tupac Shakur one, I want to say like 3 or 4 years ago, and it was loose. It didn't even have a box, for like 20 bucks because I was going to make a custom out of it. And I put it away, and going through my death pile, my death box, like, oh, how much is this worth? I sold a loose one that I paid $20 for $200. It was crazy. So anyways, Pops, definitely look out for these. And I want to thank everyone who emails me from time to time and posts on Twitter and Instagram that like, oh, you know, you inspired me to look out for Pops. I know Nicole State has found Pops. She's probably one of the most notable people you might know that have found Pops from checking out the videos and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely look out for Pops. Now, for the most part, a lot of them aren't going to be worth that much because they produce millions of them. But there's some of the older ones, especially some of the Comic-Con exclusive ones, that can go for hundreds of dollars. There's a few of them that actually go for over $1,000. So look out for Pops. Next up, we have this high school yearbook from 1987. This is University High from Los Angeles, California. And what I do is, one of the things I don't really talk about too much is I actually buy yearbooks and stuff if the price is right, if they're $1 or below. I actually paid $2 for this one. I thought this one was kind of cool. From 1987. You know, some yearbooks that have famous people in them are worth a pretty good amount of money. But I usually buy them, I list them, and I just leave them. You know, this one actually, I took a best offer for, actually this one sold for, on a sale, for $17.49 plus free shipping. So this shipped medium mail. I ship all my books medium mail. And so, you know, I made like a few bucks on this. But anyways, I just want to show you guys, look out for yearbooks. It's not like a super bolo, because literally, I want to say the older the yearbook is going to be harder to sell because a lot of those people are deceased. There's no one looking actively. But stuff in the 90s, the 80s, and the 70s right now, I think, are really popular because people are starting to go back. Oh, you know, my yearbook got lost, or my house burnt down, and you know, people are looking for yearbooks. And I thought that this one was funny because it was signed and everything. Next up, we have this Lego Mixels lot. And what this one was more of those Legos. Like I said, I've been into Legos for years, so I know what is what. You can literally give me a bin of Legos and I can sort them and literally be like, pull this out, pull this out, pull this out. This is Mixels. It's a part of Legos. For those that aren't too familiar with Legos, you're probably not going to know about Mixels, and they're kind of like these little creatures. But anyways, I know what they are, and I was able to pull them out of that huge bucket. Anyways, this sold for $34.99 plus $11.99 shipping. And so I made my money back like crazy on that Lego lot. And I'm not going to say how much I paid for it. I got it super cheap. And so it was a whole bin. I pretty much made my money back when I sold just the bulk Legos. And what that means is like I'll sell by the pound. I took all the good stuff out and then sold whatever's left. I literally made all my money back plus some just by doing that. And I definitely highly suggest everyone look at Legos if you can. Next up we have a Google shirt. I've been getting into selling clothing out of all things. I know I've talked for years about I don't want to deal with clothing. Every time I've dabbled into clothing, I just hated it. You know, my time is very limited. I don't want to mess around with clothing. You know, there's a lot of picky buyers when it comes to clothing. There's just so much stuff that it's just not fun for me. But anyways, I started like, why don't I, you know, dip my toes into it? I thought like I can find t-shirts for super cheap. So I was thinking like, why not just buy some t-shirts, start listing them. I like t-shirts. I know what's cool. And for the most part, I have a good eye when it comes to t-shirts and things like that. So I can pick up stuff that I know will probably sell down the road. I also use Poshmark. And for those that sell clothes, if you're not utilizing Poshmark, you're missing out on some money for sure. And shout out to Nicole State for showing me Poshmark a long time ago. I've actually sold some shoes and things like that on there. So anyways, I took a best offer for $10 on this, and that was kind of dumb. And this was kind of a learning experience because I forgot that I put free shipping on a lot of my shirts when I first listed them. And so I was like, oh, $10, you know, cool. But I forgot that shipping wasn't included. So I made literally like $1 or $2 on this. And I learned from this experience to put shipping on future shirts. Next up, we have this True Blood Complete Season, second season. This was kind of a miss, and I wanted to show you guys because I feel like I should be showing you some of the failures as well as the wins because I don't feel like the reseller community or the YouTubers literally show you too many things that are or something that they shouldn't have bought. It's always like, oh, look at this, I made like $1 million on this. That's usually how the resellers do their business. But I want to show you guys that this literally was something that I probably shouldn't have bought. There was a lady, she had tons of DVDs. She worked for Warner Brothers, and I was like in heaven. They were all sealed, and I was like, man, I'm going to make so much money on this stuff. I bought this True Blood. I think it was like, I paid her like $5. It was brand new. And I thought when I bought these sight unseen, I didn't even have my phone. I didn't scan any of this stuff. I should have scanned it. I thought these sets were going to go for like 50 or 60 bucks, and they sat forever. So anyways, I took a best offer for $11.99 free shipping. I probably lost money on this when you really think about it. So I just want to show you guys when you're buying media, DVDs, everything that like even Blu-rays, you think like, oh, you paid $5 for this. If I was ungated in Amazon, I would be killing it with DVDs and Blu-rays, but I'm gated like pretty much 99% of everyone else. And so this would have been amazing to sell on Amazon, but I'm not on Amazon, so I have to deal with the eBay people, deal with eBay kind of things. So I wouldn't have bought this. I probably won't buy this or do my due diligence if I ever come across this stuff before. If you guys have any questions in the chat, please leave them in the chat. I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in for sure, especially on a Saturday. And I'm all mixed up here. Okay. Next up, we have the Star Wars. I bought a huge collection of Star Wars figures. And I was literally probably like $1 or $2 into this. This sold. It was like kind of a rarer Star Wars Galoob Micro Machines set. I thought that what was really funny about this set is it had the Tauntaun. For those that are Star Wars fans, in Empire Strikes Back, Han Solo finds Luke Skywalker frozen in the snow. He cuts open a Tauntaun and puts him inside to warm him up. I thought it was hilarious that this action figure set had the cut open Tauntaun and Luke laying there in the Wampa. This was actually a great set. But anyways, I'm nerding out. But this was really cool. This sold for like I think I took a best offer for this one for like 15 something or 14 something plus $5.99 shipping. Still working on my Star Wars stuff. I have tons of that stuff. Next up, we have shoes. I don't do shoes ever. Is another thing that I'm dabbling in. Shout out to my wife. She found these shoes. So we've been kind of like every week kind of going together. I'm kind of showing her like, you know, the ropes with kind of thrifting. Because for me, if there's two people going thrifting, you can hit twice as much stuff in a store. So I'll go and look at the shirts and the glass and all the DVDs and stuff while she goes in the women's section and starts going through all that stuff. So she actually pulled these shoes out of these DC Josh Callis. These were actually in amazing condition. Not only that, they were sample shoes, which is kind of, they're rare. Though, you know, there was a little bit of like, you know, they were put together sloppy because they were sample shoes. Basically, sample shoes are just kind of like promotional shoes they show people, or they're like pre-production so people can actually physically see something. The gluing on some of these wasn't that great, but it was actually a really clean pair of shoes. And these are super rare. You can't really find these. These are long sold out. And for those that are skateboarding fans, you know, Josh Callis is a professional skateboarder and all that stuff. And so, yeah, we're dabbling into shoes now. We're dabbling into clothing. I just listed a ton of these Colin Kaepernick jerseys I got at a Goodwill. And I bought a few of them, and I went back to go buy the rest of them, and they were all sold out, of course. So I should have just pulled the trigger on them when I was there. But I bought a pretty good amount of them, and so I'm dabbling into clothing. I know I told everyone I hate clothing, but we're going to do it. And excuse me for my voice. I've been feeling under the weather the last few days. Not only, you know, everything else, but I really appreciate everyone coming in. That's pretty much it. If you're new to the channel, please click the subscribe button. We're almost at 4,000 subscribers. I think we're at 38 something, and I really appreciate everyone's support. It really keeps me going. I love to read all your comments. Click the like button if you enjoyed this video. If you have any information on anything that I showed, or if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below on the back end. And I definitely appreciate everyone who stopped by the chat and said what's up. I really appreciate it. And so, yeah, everyone have a good day, and there are going to be some more videos coming later, so we'll see you soon. Take care.